So you're making money, right? And you feel good, right? Or do you really feel empty? I mean, you're hitting your goals and you feel great, right? Or do you still feel empty? Do you feel lost sometimes? You feel like things are off sometimes because you're winning. But why is it that you feel like you're losing? You said when you made more money, you'd be happy. You said when you get that car, you'd be really, really happy. When you got that new house, when you eliminated that crazy relationship, or you quit that job and you started running your own business, you'd have freedom. That's what you said. That you'd have freedom. But now you feel more trapped than ever. Why is that? You know, as entrepreneurs, it takes accountability for us to really say, you know what is the reason why I can't see that I'm winning? It's because of 4 things. Actually, it's because of 3 things. It's because of 3 things. The 4th is a bonus. I wasn't going to tell you that, but I'll tell you there's 4 things. But there's 3 things that if you do immediately, you will change everything and start having inner peace in your life. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to stop feeling like you're chasing something? I mean, right now you have destination disease, right? It's like when I get there, things will be great. When I achieve that, everything's going to be awesome. I'm going to be happy when I buy that. But that's a destination. That's a place. That's a thing. That's a person. That's a project. What if I said right now the project is you looking in the mirror? Because, like, you're making money, but you can't make eye contact in the mirror. It's almost like your money grew, but you didn't. So in this video, I'm going to change your life. I'm going to help you finally see that what you've been chasing isn't going to give you happiness. But I'm going to teach you how to finally achieve that through a few steps, simple things that you could do right now and start having peace in your life. Because you can have all these things, but without having inner peace, what's the point? I love what Wayne Dyer says. He says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I always like to say what you see is what you get. So if you're focused on the one thing that you don't have, you're going to miss all the things that you do have. Welcome to the Perspective Pause. You don't need another sale. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new house. You don't need a new life. You just need a new lens. And in this video, I'm going to help you adjust your focus so you can zoom out and start using that lens and stop feeling empty and start feeling full. Because if you can't be happy in a Hyundai, you're not going to be happy in a Ferrari. If you can't be happy in a 800 square foot home, you're not going to be happy in an 8,000 square foot home. I'll tell you that right now. So you think you may need more revenue, a bigger house, a better car, another vacation, maybe even another business, a different life? No, you just need a different lens. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you get some value today. My goal today is really to help you shift your perspective, because I believe that everything changes when we change our perspective. And the mission for this channel is to help 1 million people be able to adjust their focus, learn how to zoom out, take these tools and apply them immediately so they can see that they're winning when they feel like they're losing. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel and make sure that you share this with somebody that needs to hear this, because the person that really needs to hear this today may not get it if you don't. Wayne Dyer says this, right? He says, abundance is not something that we acquire. It's something we tune into. Man, in this video, I'm going to go over these 3 lifestyle shifts, right? And if you change them now, I promise you're going to be fulfilled. And it's you're chasing success to find peace. That's the lens that you're looking at things through right now. You're chasing success to find peace. I literally had a conversation recently with a few people, and a tremendous amount of success right over the last couple of weeks. They've been successful. I talked to them over the last couple of weeks, and they've been saying that no matter what they do, they don't feel like they're anywhere yet. No matter how hard they work, they just don't feel successful yet. No matter what they achieve or what they accomplish, they just can't see that they're winning. And I'll just kind of tell you right now that if you don't celebrate your progress, then you're going to feel nothing but pain in the process. You know, the process is definitely painful because we're growing through that. But if you don't celebrate the wins, sometimes you're actually not even going to get where you wanted to go because you're not collecting the wins to enhance your energy and your just level of inspiration to continue to keep going. Hopefully you guys understand that, add some value, and are getting some value from this video. If you are, drop some rockets in the chat. And yeah, let's get into it, y'all. Because I'll say this, right? Like, one of my friends, right? He says that like doing the work actually brings him success, right? But then it's like he's attached to the outcome of what actually happens, right? So it's like when something happens, if it doesn't go the way that he wanted it to go, he'll feel like he's not making any progress. And I love what John Maxwell talks about when he says that, you know, it's not failure, it's feedback, right? We need to reframe failure and understand that it's feedback. But more importantly, you can't control the outcome or what goes on outside, but you can always control what's going on inside and the input. Because here's what actually happens, right? You make money, you feel good for a week. Now you need more money to buy the car. You feel proud for a month. Now you want the next one. So you hit the goal, then you celebrate for a day, but then you immediately move the goalpost. And the success isn't going to create the peace. The peace is going to create success. You know, man, this will probably be the most powerful video that any successful entrepreneur could ever watch. Because the old lens that most people are looking through is that more is going to be success. The chase, no, don't get me wrong. Like the journey is the destination, but there's a difference between a journey and a chase, right? There's I see y'all in the chat. What's up, y'all? You know, chasing money to feel peaceful is going to be an endless battle where the goalpost continues to move because you're never going to be fulfilled because you're always going to want more. Achieving goals to feel fulfilled is definitely the fastest way to burnout because you feel like once I get to a place, I'm going to feel fulfilled, right? And getting more to feel enough or, you know, outer success will fix the inner chaos is what a lot of people will say. But the real lens that you need to look through things through is not success creates peace. It's peace creates success because you need to have peace while you build or else the people around you are not going to want to continue to build with you. Because a lot of the time, entrepreneurs that have this mindset of entrepreneurs that have destination disease will usually have a team that's walking on eggshells all the time, and they're afraid to actually bring up maybe any problems, concerns, or address anything because they're just literally walking on eggshells. Now, usually, you as the leader, what'll end up happening is you have to, instead of shifting the blame to the people around you, you have to kind of look in the mirror and say, maybe I'm the one dropping the eggshells. Let me focus on myself, right? But when we focus on what we have, when we focus on how inner peace creates outer success, what happens is like we stop acting as if life is like some rehearsal and we live each day like it was actually our last. You know, I said it earlier in the video, it's like you won't be happy if you're not happy in a Hyundai, you won't be happy in a Ferrari. And it's not because the Ferrari is bad, it's because the lens that you're looking at the Ferrari is. And again, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You need the inner peace first. Then the Hyundai becomes enough. Then the 800 square foot home becomes enough, right? Then what you have always becomes enough. And that's when you build real success. So I want to go into pretty much the prescription that I would say that I'm going to give you today to adjust your focus in the 3 key areas where if you zoom out right now, you can see how to create this inner peace in your life as a successful entrepreneur, right? And if you zoom out, right, for a minute, like really, like when I say zoom out, I mean like step outside of your current situation for a minute. And think to get out of the forest so you can see the trees. Get out of the pill bottle so you can see your label, right? Because these 3 things, if you focus on them right now, I promise you, everything will change immediately. And it may take a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe even 30 days. But if you start right now, you'll immediately start to see change. The first one is going to be sobriety. No alcohol, no drugs. The second one is going to be gratitude and prayer. And then the third one is going to be exercise. A lot of people say you got to get your mind right, then you can go get your body right. But sometimes when you start moving your body, you start to actually build up those endorphins and it starts to get your mind right. And so sometimes we sit still too long and we're overthinking. You know, I always like to say that thinking is good as long as you know when to stop doing it. You know, and so I have a framework called the ABCs to success. The ABCs, they stand for action brings clarity. Sometimes you got to get your body right to get your mind right. Action brings clarity. Clarity doesn't bring action. You have to take action, then it starts bringing clarity. And the best way to remember that is ABC. Action brings clarity. It's the ABCs of success, y'all. Create a plan, then run with the ABCs. So area 1, sobriety, right? We got to stop numbing and start feeling. You know, in the last video, I talked about you have to feel the anxiety sometimes to actually start the change. Sometimes you have to, something has to spark inside of you to feel like it's off in order for you to start addressing or even realizing that there is something that's off. But my question to you is this: are you drinking more? Are you scrolling more? Are you avoiding more? I mean, we can go back to the Bible. Ephesians 5:18 says, "Do not get drunk on wine, instead be filled with the Spirit." Do not get drunk on wine, instead be filled with the Spirit. Because the old lens, we're kind of like zoomed in on the problem, right? This old zoom lens is we're saying things like, I deserve a drink to relax. Alcohol helps me unwind. I'm not an alcoholic. I just like to drink. Numbing instead of feeling is what's literally happening. But the new lens, when we zoom out, we can focus on things this way, right? Adjust your focus and say, I process instead of numbing. I create peace without substances. I'm present, not distracted. I'm feeling instead of avoiding. Again, you can't control what's going on the outside, but you got to control what's going on the inside. Because what happens when you start to numb physically, it may feel good for a minute, but like your energy will start crashing, your sleep quality will start to drop, your health will deteriorate, and your body will start to weaken. Mentally, I mean, your clarity starts to disappear, decision making starts to get all out of whack, your emotions start getting suppressed, and peace, it starts to feel impossible because you're building a habit of as soon as you start feeling off, you numb it. And then spiritually, your connection to God starts to really fade away because you're not really having any more faith. You're just numbing the fear. Right? So the tangible way, let me kind of give you something that you can do to increase peace in this area. Because as a successful entrepreneur, you know, even myself, I've noticed that there will be seasons to where if I go through some sort of a struggle or things are in an area of uncertainty and I don't want to address the issue, I will avoid it with things. Now, I don't drink alcohol, but I do know that there was a time in my life where alcohol destroyed my family. And I watched that happen. And I watched it continue to happen. But again, when it comes to doing these things, we have to ask ourselves, are we making excuses? Because a lot of people say, what's wrong with drinking alcohol, Chesko? You got a thing with people that drink alcohol? Just because you went through a season where you were, married to an alcoholic that, now, you think everybody's an alcoholic? Listen, I don't ever say that there's something wrong with alcohol. I just reframe it and ask you what's right about it. What's right about it? What does it do for you? That's such a good thing. Or do you find yourself saying, I'm a disciplined entrepreneur, and you take pride in all the success that you have, but then the moment you know that you shouldn't be drinking alcohol, you make an excuse like, it's all right, I can unwind, I can relax. Again, this is the way I look at things. You don't have to look at them this way. But if you are an entrepreneur that feels like you had all the money, all the cars, all the clothes, all the homes, but you got no peace, this is why. I would challenge you not to drink alcohol for 30 days. I would challenge you to not do any drugs. Obviously, unless you're on blood pressure medicine or something like that. But you understand what I mean. Start weaning yourself off of the Xanaxes and the antidepressants and all the things that are numbing you out. No mindless scrolling. It's interesting how we don't think that social media is a drug. But take a look on your iPhone and look at the screen time. I don't know if Androids have this, but take a look at your screen time and take a look at how long you're actually mindlessly scrolling and what time of the day you're doing that, and start to realize that why are you doing that? Because what you tune into is what you turn into. So everything that you turn into is going to be everything that you turn into. And again, you may be making the money. You may be making 6 figures. You may be making 7 figures. But if you can't make eye contact with yourself in the mirror, that just goes to show that your money might have grown, but you didn't. So what to do instead, right? You feeling uncomfortable? Then start to journal, start to pray, start to process it, or get around people and have a conversation that you can do that with. I think that's a big part of the problem is like a lot of us as, successful entrepreneurs, we may be focusing on something, and the people that we're coming up or achieving success with, their awareness level may not be on the same page. So you can't go obtain this awareness and then go back to the same place that, caused you to have these negative feelings and emotions built up. Because they're going to have the same process of continuing to cope. While you watching this video right now, you're actually taking the time out to feed your growth mindset. Everyone else might be focusing on building up their fixed mindset and not thinking that, education and information is going to fix their situation. Instead of you focusing on setting the bar, they're going to go drink at the bar. And you got to learn how to say no to that. So if you want to learn how to unwind, go take a walk. Stretch. Start to breathe. Sound corny? Then you probably need it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with somebody that you know is a successful entrepreneur that just doesn't feel like they always have peace. If you need to relax, learn how to meditate. Gratitude, stillness. I could tell you to do those things, but like the easiest thing to do would be to wake up in the morning, go into your notes app on your phone, and just at least write down one thing that you're completely grateful for. And then set an alarm. I have an alarm at 1:11. It says 1:11 as it is in heaven, right? It allows me to start really focusing on what matters most. And you may have to set alarms. You may have to check yourself, because if you don't have a coach that's going to continue to coach you and trim you to keep you on track, then you're going to have to do it yourself. And if you're too busy to do it yourself, then you may need a coach. But until then, at least start to take the accountability and start to set alarms to remind yourself. Because peace is is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be. So yeah, the first 7 days you're going to feel discomfort. It's not going to feel normal. But after about like day 8 through 14, we'll say like the third week, man, clarity starts returning. You start to be able to think and not wanting to numb it out. You start to process things. And then like 15 days in, your energy starts to increase. Your sleep starts to improve. And then, the end of 3 weeks, about the fourth week out, you start to see that peace is like more of a baseline. And then you'll start to identify people around you also that are still coping with those other ways. So you could start to actually disconnect from that. Last thing you want to do is tell anybody else what you're doing. Number one, you don't want to tell somebody else that you're doing this and it's, to make them feel bad, because a lot of people may take it offense to, when you're working on yourself, the best thing that you could possibly do is just to become the change. And then your results in your life start to influence others. Right? So area number 2, right? Area number 2, gratitude practice. This includes prayer, right? And the question that I'll ask you guys is when was the last time that you wrote down what's working in your life instead of obsessing over what's not? We're constantly just focusing on the one thing that we don't have instead of all the things that we do have. And well, how do I fix that, Chesko? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Well, let's take it back to the Bible. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Be joyful in all things. Give thanks in all circumstances. Pray always. That might not be word for word, but that's what it says. Pray always. Give thanks in all circumstances. Be joyful in all things. If you're joyful and grateful in the moment right now, your mind can't be disappointed, depressed, or angry. It just can't. And a lot of people don't want to believe that, so they don't even try it. Because they say, you know what? Once I get happier, once I become more happy, once I become more peaceful, then I'll be more grateful. But happiness doesn't create gratitude. Practicing gratitude creates happiness. When you're peaceful, that's not when you start becoming more grateful. Practicing gratitude, becoming more grateful, creates peace. What if it only took you 2 to 5 minutes a day to change your life completely? Would you do it? That's the real question. Would you spend 2 to 5 minutes a day if you knew it would change your life? Would you do it? Because the old lens of what you're doing right now, you're focusing on what's missing. You're focusing on what's missing in your life. You're focusing on the things that are not going well. There's always something that's not going well, but there's always something that's going well. And the things that are going well are still going to be there, even if you choose not to see them. But the only problem is they may not be there for long. So you need to zoom out and stop focusing on what's missing, because it's only 1 or 2 things. Look at all the things that you do have. Look at how far you've come. Not what you still got to get done. Now, you can focus on what you still have to get done, but first focus on how far you've come so it gives you a better lens to look at what still needs to get done. Man, that's so good. I hope that you can understand this. I hope that you catch that. Because it's like we're constantly going to focus on what needs to get done. We got a task list. We have all the things and all the projects and all the things that we're doing in our life right now. It's so many different things being pulled in so many different directions. But it's like we have to go to that project and that task list and those employees and that business and into our leadership role with the right lens. So instead of us looking at, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning and focus on what has to get done, start with how far you've come. Then go into what has to get done. Because you're setting yourself up with a solid foundation to be a leader, not only for others, but for yourself. Look in the mirror and celebrate a win. Celebrate yourself. You're still going. If you're watching this, you're still growing. Stop comparing yourself to someone else. You're not them. A lot of the times we'll say that like, it's not enough yet. It's not enough yet. My goal is to have, 4 locations for my businesses and I only have 1 still. So I got to keep going until I have 4. What if you never make it to 4? Did you live your whole life chasing to get to somewhere that never happened? Were you chasing a ghost while everybody around you was watching you? The people around you, they're watching you. It's interesting how people will say to me, man, you go on social media, you're going on YouTube, you're going on Instagram and Facebook and you're sharing things and people know about what's going on in your life. Man, it's don't you get kind of worried that people see everything that you're doing? And it's like, people see everything you're not doing too. I remember Earl Nightingale, I believe it was. Somebody said this, man, and it just stuck with me, and it's so deep. Because Earl Nightingale says, you are what you think about, right? And you'll have other people say, you are what you do, or you are your actions, right? Who you are is what you consistently think about. Who you are is what you consistently do, your habits. Show me your habits, I'll show you your future. But can I tell you something that nobody talks about? But I believe it's more important than all of those things. And it's in alignment with your character. Because although you are what you think about, what you do, and what your habits are, you're also the person that nobody knows but you. You're also the person that nobody knows but you. You're not only the person when everybody's watching. You're the person when nobody is. That's your character. What the world sees and what just you see, are they the same person? Because if they're not, that's where a lot of this anxiety, stress, depression, pain, wanting to numb ourselves is stemming from. Listen, y'all, I'm very transparent. I believe that transparency and vulnerability is another person's therapy. And according to Brené Brown, it's also a form of leadership. But I'll tell you what, just because I talk about God doesn't mean that I don't sin. Just because I talk about being kind doesn't mean that I don't hurt people. Just because I talk about happiness doesn't mean that I'm never depressed. But social media has you fooled to think that that's not the case. So I just want you to know that, like, just because I talk about God does not mean that I don't sin. That's why God sent his only son to die for us, because he knew that we weren't going to be perfect. So stop acting like you're perfect. All right. Can't celebrate wins. That's an issue. If you can't see something that's going well in your life, then nothing's going well in your life. If you can't see that something's going well in your life, that means nothing's going well in your life. Your life sucks. Just like the title of this thumbnail, it says, my life sucks. Well, my life sucks if I'm looking at the things that suck in my life. I could have millions of dollars in the bank. I could have great health. I could be in phenomenal shape. I could have healthy children. I could have a great business. I could have a lot of things going for me. But if I'm focused on the one thing that I don't have, I don't have a pool in my backyard. My God. I know so many people that have a pool, and I don't have a pool. If I constantly focus on the lack, then I'm going to constantly hold myself back. If I focus on the fact that I don't have a pool yet, I'm going to feel like I'm behind. But what about all the things I just said that were going well? They're still there. Hopefully. I better adjust my focus. Are you focused on the one thing that you don't have, that you see somebody else might have, but you don't yet? Or are you focused on all the things that you do have? Are you focused on other people providing the things that you need to provide for yourself, like peace and love and happiness? Or are you blaming everybody else? It all starts with you. There's a really good book called The Mastery of Love, where it talks about how we're like a pizza oven, right? And we can make all the pizza in the world, which is kind of like an analogy for all the love that we can for ourselves. But it's interesting. We'll allow somebody to be at the door, ringing the doorbell and say, here, I'll give you a pizza, but you have to do these types of things in order to keep the pizza. It's kind of like with love, right? Somebody comes into your life and says, in order for me to give you my love, you have to be this person and do these types of things. But in all reality, we have everything unconditionally inside of us to give us all the love that we need. But then again, we want to be connected. It's because we have attachment disorders. Things that happened maybe when we were children that we're not focused on. That's the real issue. Why are we attached to these things or people? Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully I'm not going too off track. If you guys are still with me, getting any value from this, drop some rockets in the chat, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and share this out to one person today. It's like, yeah, anyway, let me keep going for the sake of this video, right? Again, Wayne Dyer, I like what Wayne Dyer says. He says, abundance is not something that we acquire. It's something that we tune into. And what happens when you stop practicing gratitude, right? When you start focusing on the one thing that you don't have, and you're focused on just your life just not being what you want it to be. You could have all these things, but you're still focused on, the things that you don't have. Well, nothing feels like it's ever enough. And you can't enjoy a win. And comparison steals your joy. And I made a video on comparing yourself as a good thing. You want to compare yourself to the habits of the people that are successful, not to the things that they actually have. Compare yourself to the habits that you need to put in place for yourself to become the person that you wish to become. Your connection with God's going to continue to weaken, and your prayer time is going to become really like transactional. Like you'll notice if you're not really grateful or you're looking at life through the wrong lens, when prayer becomes transactional. Meaning like when something's going wrong, you start praying to God to give you something. Or, somebody's health goes down or your health goes down or something happens, you pray, please God help me here. Please God help me here. But you don't ever pray when things are going well. You don't ever thank God for what you have. It's interesting. I learned this from my own experience. I remember praying to God for something that I wanted. Then I got it. But then I started praying for something else that I wanted instead of praying to God to say thank you for bringing me what it was that I prayed for. But here's the thing. If you're ever praying and you're not getting the things that you believe that you should be getting in prayer, then maybe it's not what God wants you to have. A lot of people say God doesn't say no. He says, when God says no, he says it's not reject. What's that phrase people say? God doesn't say no. God's rejection is just redirection. No, sometimes God says no. Like let's stop trying to shift the Bible to make it seem what it is that we want is still something that's still possibly available to us. Just because God's not giving it to me right now doesn't mean I can't have it. Well, seek the kingdom of God, and then God will fulfill the desires of your heart. I don't know what scripture that is, but it's a scripture in the Bible that says, seek the kingdom of God, and then God will fulfill the desires of your heart. But if you seek the kingdom of God, the desires that you have are probably going to start changing. And prayer won't be transactional. It'll be transformational because you'll be praying and being thankful. Like it said in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, you will be thankful and joyful in all things. You're not just praying because you want something. You're praying because you already got something. If I do this, God, will you do this? Trying to negotiate with God. Stop focusing on what it is that you want to start focusing on all the things that he's already given you. He gave you the breath in your lungs. He gave you the ability to see today. The problem may have been that he gave you the ability to look. He keeps the ability to help you be able to see, but he gives you the ability to determine where you're going to look. And that may be the issue. Because God gave you the ability to see today, but you determine what you look at. And where you're looking is what's cooking. Come on now. You stop seeing blessings and the peace just starts to disappear. And emotionally, fulfillment starts to feel impossible. Happiness always lives in the later realm. Destination disease. And the present moment starts to feel empty. It's like you can't be still because nothing's going on. And it feels like the future is only is like the only answer, like where I'm going or what I can have, right? So how do you increase peace? The morning gratitude method. Listen, y'all, if you know me, I got a wristband on. It says win the morning, right? I believe that if you want to win the day, you got to win the morning. If anybody that knows me, I'm not going to go into all the things that I've done to focus on having better morning routines. But I will tell you this. If you would just wake up in the morning and do something really simple, and you can write this down. I'm going to win the morning. Tomorrow I'm going to win the morning. And sometimes winning the morning is going to be something sometimes winning the morning is something that might need to be only won from the night before, right? So you need to like write this down now or tonight and then put it by your, alarm clock or by your dresser, wherever you go. But make sure you go to this before you go to your phone. They said in the chat, God's redirection is his protection. Come on now. Appreciate you being on today. So in the morning, right? In the morning, if you want to have a better day, you start with having a better morning. And this only takes like 5 minutes and your whole day will shift, right? So in the morning, do not go to your phone, right? I like what Mel Robbins talks about keeping your phone like the bathroom or somewhere else in another room. So, but at night, before you go to bed, write down, what am I grateful for? And put a line there and then put it right next to your bed. I mean, and this is very simple stuff, right? There's different types of gratitude journals and planners and things like that I could recommend to you. I can give you my Amazon link, whatever the case is. DM me on any platform and I'll be able to, help you out and give you the tools that I use, right? But step one is prayer, right? Talk to God before you check your phone. And don't make it transactional, right? Like, give me some more clients, God. Today, I'm going to pray if you give me another sale. Like, why does God deserve to give you anything? Make it more conversational, right? Like, thank you for my day. Help me guide my decisions today. Help me look at the good today. Help me see what it is that I have today. Go to worldmeters.info. Worldmeters.info. Put that on your phone. It'll show you exactly how many people, it'll show you the total population and all these different types of things, right? But most importantly, it'll tell you how many people didn't get the chance to wake up today. But start your day off like that, right? Have the conversation with God. Prayer, 5 minutes. Not transactional. Make it conversational. Step 2, gratitude. Write down at least one. Love to say 3, but at least one thing that you're grateful for and make it specific. Not like, I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my employees. I'm grateful for my family. Say, I'm grateful that I was able to pay for my daughter's dental appointment yesterday. I'm just writing down something I'm grateful for. Grateful to make a payment on her braces. I'm grateful that my daughter laughed at this joke I said this morning. Make it specific. Not, I'm grateful for my car. Say, I'm grateful for when I didn't have a car and I wanted something that had Apple CarPlay inside of it. I got that and I use it every single day. Be specific. Wayne Dyer says it. I said it 3 times on here. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Like I always say, what you see is what you get. And then step 3 is the wins. Once you get the morning down, then at the night, you can write 3 wins from the day. This is going to help you constantly focus on the good. Because you're so focused on making more money or getting a new paint job on a car or being able to, get your dream home. Whatever the case is that you're focused on something else that has to happen in order for you to feel like you're winning. But if you would just adjust your focus and zoom out, you could see how you're winning, although you feel like you're losing. So write down 3 wins for the day. Even the small ones count. I mean, like the win for me the other day was that I'm finally caught up with my taxes. I'm finally getting caught up with my taxes. I was behind on my taxes, y'all. That's a major win. It could be something simple. I mean, I had that hard conversation I've been putting off for a month. I haven't drank any alcohol today. I went to the gym today. Whatever that may be, right? So we'll just go into that. It's area number 3 is exercise. When's the last time you actually moved your body? 1 Corinthians 6:19 says, your body is a temple. Honor God with your body. You only get one. Like, we act like as if we get to replace this thing every once in a while because technology's good. But at the end of the day, the only cure to any issues in life is prevention. But this old lens that you're looking at things is screwing everything up because you're saying things like, I don't have time to work out. I got to focus on this webinar. My business needs me more. I can't go ahead and make it to the gym today. I'll exercise when things start to slow down. But you don't want them to slow down. So what if things don't slow down? Then you'll never exercise? Like, you got to get out of the house. You got to go to the gym. You got to do something to move your body because here's the thing. If you feel like your life sucks, that's in your head. That's not out here. That's inside. But the only way you're going to fix inside is sometimes to move your outside. Action brings clarity. It's the ABCs to success. Action. What does action look like? A walk, a run, some weights, something to move your body to start shifting your mind. And then you're going to start looking at yourself and saying, I did what I said I was going to do. Most powerful thing you could possibly do. Energy is going to give you more time. It's going to give you more energy. It's going to give you more clarity. You're going to look better in a suit. I mean, listen, y'all. Your body's going to fuel your business. So, I don't got to go into detail about exercising. Just start. Just start. A walk, a run, hit the gym, something. Something. Today is the day. It's either day 1 or one day. Because emotionally, the exercise is it's been proven. The research has shown that exercise is the number one way to decrease anxiety, stabilize mood changes, destroy your depression, and really give you some self-confidence. And it's not even how you look. It's the factor of just making sure that you're doing the thing that you said you need to do. So go for a walk in the morning. Maybe say I'm going to go to the gym 3 times and lift weights. It doesn't have to be like, what am I doing today? Chest or back or buys or legs or what? It could just be a full body workout. Just do it for 30 minutes. Squats, deadlifts, presses, whatever. Something. Like, these are the things that are going to solve the problems in your life. It's not more money. You don't need a new sale. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new house. You don't even need a new body. You just need a new lens on how you're looking at things. Because your exercise is going to release endorphins, which is clinically proven to drop your stress levels, your cortisol decreases, clarity starts to increase, you start making better decisions, your energy goes up, more focus, peace starts to become more of a baseline, and success is going to follow the peace. Because Peace is the result of retraining your mind to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be. So it's allowing you to actually learn how to process what's really happening instead of trying to make some fake assumption of what you think life is supposed to look like. So the old way, what? Chasing success will create peace. The old lens is going to constantly tell you that I'm going to create success and then I'm going to create peace. But this new lens says I'm going to create peace, then success follows. So what are we going to do, y'all? Yeah, we can continue to make sales all day. We can continue to run our team all day. We can continue to run our business. We can continue to grow. We can continue to be coached and trimmed and go to the seminars and read the books and do all the things. But we have to add a few things to make sure that we feel peace along the way. Number one, sobriety. No alcohol, no drugs, no more numbing. Gratitude and prayer. And an exercise. Hopefully you guys got some value from this video today. I know it's pretty simple. It's talking about those three things. But those three things are so simple that we overlook them for things that we believe are going to give us peace and happiness. But the reason why you're a successful entrepreneur and you feel like your life sucks and you feel empty is because you're using the wrong lens to look at your life through. You're focused on the one thing that you don't have instead of focusing on all the things that you do have. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new house. You don't need a new life. You need a new lens. If you can't be happy in that Hyundai, you're not going to be happy in that Lamborghini. If you can't be happy in a 800 square foot home, you won't be happy in an 8,000 square foot home. If you can't be happy that you have one location for your business, you're not going to be happy when you have three. So go back to worldmeters.info right now. Go back to worldmeters.info right now and realize that if you woke up, you are winning. Because if I told you, hey, I'll give you $1 million right now, I'll give you $10 million right now, and you valued that, or I give you the car that you want and you valued that, or if I gave you the house that you want and you valued that, but I said that you wouldn't be able to wake up tomorrow, would you still take it? So what's the most valuable thing that you already have? It isn't something that you don't have. It's something that you already do. And why should God give you any more if you're not grateful for what you already have? Luke 16:10, the man that is faithful with little will be faithful with much. I'm all about growing. But you're probably going to grow in the wrong direction if you don't start with gratitude first. So tonight, write down your 3 wins. Put it right by your bed, your nightstand, whatever you got to do. And in the morning, spend 15 minutes. Write down what you're grateful for. Be specific. Have some prayer. Don't make it transactional. Make it conversational. Be grateful for the things that you have. Thank God for what He's already given you. Then exercise. 30 minutes, 3 times this week. Just get started. Beginning is winning. And I promise you, if you adjust your focus and stop looking at what you need to be happy, and you start focusing on what you have, you'll start to become happy. The last thing I'll tell you is this. This came to me the other morning. I wrote it down on one of these Post-its that I got here. Yeah, it's not here, but I remember it was so powerful. And I said, if you think that there's something that you need or something that you need to purchase or something that you need to do that's going to make you happy when you do that, purchase that, or get that, that right there is proving that when you get it or have it, you won't be. Let me say that again. If you think that once you achieve something or once you buy something or once you do something, it's going to finally bring happiness in your life, that's the determining factor right there that it won't. Because you must choose peace and happiness with what you currently already have. Then when you get anything else, you'll be extremely grateful for it. And you won't be connected to it. Because we're way too connected to what it is that we have and what we want. And we need to be open to everything, but connect to absolutely nothing. And there's somebody on the other side of the planet right now. Heck, there's probably somebody down the street from you that would take every one of your problems and trade them with you in a heartbeat. There's people that will never even get to live the day that you have today, and they're praying for it, and they'll never get it. Your life, your daily life is a dream for somebody else. But until you start realizing all that you have is enough, it never will be. Until you realize that everything in your life you have is enough, it never will be. Today is the gift that God gave you. And what you do with it is your gift back to God. This has been another episode of the Perspective Pause. Hopefully you got some value from this. And it's been 27 weeks now. We've been going live every single Wednesday. Super excited to be here with you. I pray to God that you take something from this video. You apply it immediately, because without you taking ownership and without you taking action, you're never going to take off. But you're not like most people, right? You're going to take ownership, you're going to take action, and eventually you are going to take off. So again, my name is Francesco Franzese. Some people call me Chesco. Some people call me Let's Go Chesco. But my focus is to just make sure that I can help you adjust your focus so you can start seeing that you have such an amazing, incredible life, and take that perspective pause moment so you can slow down, so you can speed up. I pray you guys have a phenomenal day. Share this with somebody that you know that needs to see this. And I'll see you next week. God bless y'all. Peace.